Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation, coming to you from the Olympic Village in Lake Placid, New York. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? So many good things to talk with you about tonight. First off, the top signs you may be a mystic. I want to share with you a couple stories. I'm going to share with you our School of Mystics starting this Wednesday. How does it get any better than this? Because we can help you become the mystic that you were meant to be. And I got to be truthful with you. And I'm going to see if I can slow down a little bit. I'm a bit nervous here this evening. Yeah, that's right. I'm actually nervous. Why am I nervous? I've had done, over 2,000, 2,100, 2,200 different shows on YouTube and the like. So why am I nervous for this one? Well, because we tend to travel around now in an RV. We do everything remotely. We have a beautiful RV setup. We have a couple amazing decks that we can record on. We have a studio on board. And yet, here we are at this magnificent, I'm going to call it 5-star-ish hotel. It's as nice of a hotel as there is here in Lake Placid. We wanted to do something very special for you. We wanted to have a really special event tonight. And so I feel a little bit of added pressure. Isn't that interesting? Pressure to give you a really, really special show and help you see, if you're a modern mystic, what that means, how you can become one, and the signs that you're already on the way to becoming a mystic. So with that said, I like to say that a modern mystic is somebody who sees without eyes, hears without ears, and knows without thought. Sees without eyes, hears without ears, knows without thought. They are, and you may be, a seer rather than a seeker. It means to see through the fabric of time and space, to see through the illusion that we're faced with here. If you feel like you have a connection, almost a kindred connection, although it's a strange way to put it, with movies like The Matrix, and go, that's it, that's not the real world, then you too may be a mystic. So we kind of used these mystic powers earlier today that Jessica and I have, and we were in Lake Placid. We arrived yesterday after so much prayer. We were in our RV, a 65-foot setup when you have the 43.5-foot RV combined with the 22-foot truck that tows it. And we went through the rolling hills of Vermont in this thing. And I was in prayer the whole time. Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel, please keep us safe, keep us safe, please keep us safe. As I'm going, where is that GPS specifically for RVs? And why don't I have it on my dash? Particularly when Google threw me off of the main road, only 12 miles from Lake Placid, to a perfect, beautiful dead end with a 65-foot rig. Oh my. But we got here last night and we could have rushed things to get a YouTube Live going for you. But instead, we heard we should pause, we should go slow. In fact, what I got, because what happens the further you go down this road, and if you're listening tonight, you're probably going to go down this road a lot further, is that to hear without thought or hear without ears means that you start to get a knowing of things. You start to see things ahead of time. And so I'm on the road coming into town. And I had a feeling we would be derailed at the last minute just to ensure that I don't try to rush things. I could sense it. I could feel it in my bones. A sense that the universe was trying to assist me in going even slower, by making it very evident I wasn't supposed to try and rush and get this done last night. And so I was watching for about 22 miles as Google Google Maps was saying something different than the truck GPS, is saying something different than the Tesla GPS. And I kept watching it, and it looked like it reconciled. And I made the decision that if Google took me a different direction than the truck GPS and a sign said that I'm supposed to go in that direction, I will follow it. And that's just what I did. And it put me at the dead end. Did I misread the sign? Was it pointing in the wrong direction? Who knows? But I had a sense of it. If you find you have a sense of things, you may not listen to that sense, but that sense is inside of you. You too may be a mystic. So today we get into town, or we got in last night. It was a whole journey to get parked. I mean, a real journey. And they reparked us today. Whew, that's a whole nother story. We had no internet. Boy, would it have been stressful last night if we had made the decision to do the YouTube Live and we couldn't find a good internet. And so this morning we said, we're going to go hunting for the best internet we can find. And we went as the modern mystic. See without eyes, hear without ears, know without thought. And we watched where the GPS took us. What were the signs and synchronicities? What were people saying? I went into one hotel, and I believe they had good internet. But I asked if I could test the internet, and I was told, well, you might just steal it and use it in the parking lot. Okay, that's odd. And I put that to the side, even though my ego was ruffled feathers from when I was a kid, going, who did she think I am? And she took me to a room to look at it, and it smelled like a combination of mildew and bleach. And she even commented, yeah, it's really bleachy smelling in here, isn't it? Whew. And I knew that it wasn't right. We came to this hotel, which I had seen as we came into town because it has two beautiful small waterfalls outside. They didn't know if the internet would be good or not. They, in fact, had me speak with IT, trying to determine whether it'd be good internet or not. But there was a feeling state behind it. Here's a key to whether you may be a modern mystic or not. We'll get into what a mystic means a little bit more in a little bit. Oh, and Allie is going to put a link, if you want to join us for class coming this Wednesday with all of your homies who are going down this road together. It's Michael's School of Mystics. She's putting that link down there. It's pretty awesome. So a modern mystic is somebody who has empathic abilities and chooses to open them up. We can do two things as an empath. And if you're watching this, I am sure, I'm getting really excited. I am sure if you're watching this, you are an empath. You are energetically sensitive, which means I've got to watch the woohoos because I might blast some of you out of the room because there's an energetic transmission with that. Please forgive me. An empath isn't just somebody who's sensitive. An empath isn't just somebody who can be hoovered by energy vampires, although that can happen. An empath isn't somebody who just goes into a room and needs to make everyone happy before her or himself. An empath is someone who is attuned to the frequencies beyond the known, beyond the seen, beyond the heard, beyond the thought. However, we're trained to play it small and play it safe. Play it small and play it safe. When in reality, you can blow open these skills. See to the other side of the veil. Look at what's going on in the future. Look at what's going on where people are going. You'll see flashes of their lives in front of you. and it becomes a true superpower. The mystic is an empath, not just in disguise, but who has learned to harness the power of those skills. So I was in Massachusetts a couple of days ago, and I hope so much my family is watching this. I got to see my cousins. I want to say my nephews. I always call them cousins because I see them on the same level. I got to meet with my nephews, Avery and Aaron, who to me are grown young men. And the last time I saw them, they were little boys. Now they're grown young men. And my sister was pointing out that Avery is an empath and how challenging that can be. She's right. But I turned to Avery and I said, it's awesome you're an empath. You see things nobody else does. You're aware of things nobody else does. You're always scanning for things that nobody else does. Own it, embrace it, rock it. And he lit up. And I'm saying the same thing for you here tonight. You embrace this sensitivity. Get emboldened by this sensitivity. When I was a kid, even as a young adult, so as a kid, I was a poster child. I was a poster child for Ritalin. I was sent back to kindergarten in first grade, second grade. I was sent back to first grade or sent to the principal's office. I was the poster child for ADHD. Before they called it ADHD, they called it hyperactive. I like the term hyperkinetic better, meaning I had a fast brain, although Jessica would say, your brain's not quite as fast anymore. You call yourself the Ferrari in the school bus world, but that's a story for another day. However, I was drugged. I was medicated. I was put on Ritalin till the age from 7.5 till the age of 12 or 12, maybe 13. They didn't know at the time what it does to boys for puberty, so they took me off at that time. And then back on in grad school, which is a whole nother story. It's probably a good thing that I was put on it because people didn't know how to work with me. And though I was brilliant, I probably would have been in jail, or at least kicked out of school because I was so bored. But what I said later in life is that I lost my childhood and I don't understand anybody else around me. In fact, there was a song, I don't remember who sings it. Nobody knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man, the man behind blue eyes. It was a song about not fitting in, about feeling like an outsider, about feeling like everybody knew something I did not. And that I somehow missed a critical stage of the evolution of human beings. And so I couldn't understand anybody and couldn't understand the world. It turns out if you're feeling that way too, if you feel like you missed something, if you missed out, if everybody else is speaking Earthling and you're speaking Martian, or maybe you're speaking Earthling and everybody else seems to be a Martian, you're not alone. That's a sign you're on a way to becoming a mystic. A mystic isn't somebody who just sits in the chair. Om Mani Padme Hum. That's not somebody who's sitting full lotus, levitating above pink Himalayan sea salt in a cave in Tibet. It's somebody who has a higher level vantage point, a higher level perspective on the world, which when fine-tuned, and that's what we're going to be doing in class in the School of Mystics, is to help you tune the dial so that you can see the image more clearly and interpret the image more clearly. Because without that tuning of the dial, it looks like you no longer fit in. It looks like you're an outsider. It looks like you see the world as madness, but you wonder what you're missing out on. Or you just see the world as madness. But none of it makes sense. That's the pre-mystic view of the world. That's the pre-mystic mind. once we start to play with the dial, once we start to open that third eye up, once we make a stronger connection between heart and third eye and start to dial down, crank down some of the noise that's all around you, your vibration goes up and goes up, further and further still. You're looking down on the world, but it no longer looks like you've missed a critical stage of your development. And I'm sorry if you feel that way. I'll give you big hugs, big love. I felt that way too. But now, sort of like watching The Matrix and going, I get it. You're like, I get it. I'm awake. I'm aware. I'm able to see through all of the, if we look at humanity as one human being, as each of us as a cell in the human beingness, once you become a mystic, you recognize the disease, the wounds, the pains, the suffering that the human beingness is experiencing. Your compassion for the human beingness blasts way open. You see everyone as a brother, sister, mother, father, child, daughter, son. You want to take everybody in and embrace them, but you also learn how to separate and have boundaries so you're not sucked down into the muck and the mire. But you realize that the world that appears to be insane is just a wounded little child. And as an empath turned mystic, you learn how important it is to take that little child in your arms. Keep your fingers away from the mouth, don't want to get bit. And love them up with everything you've got, starting with yourself. Because a modern mystic, that's you. You can become one. You are becoming one. Okay, truth to be told, we are all mystics once we remove the obscurations, the layer of opacity before us. And since you're attracted to this, and I know you're checking off some of these things on the list that I've got tonight is like 20, 30 things. Even if you have a few of them, you're on your way. But because you're attracted to this, it means you're closer. Many people, the majority of people, I hope not, but probably the majority of people won't wake up this lifetime. Now, I'm going to challenge you. Your job is to help people wake up, because your job is to fully awaken, to fully live up here in the higher realm while playing down here in the lower realm. Can't I just stay up in the higher realm? I just want enlightenment. I just want to float. I just want to be spirit. Yes, you can play in the higher realm. But if you stay in the higher realm, you're not embodied. And embodied is where the party's at, because it's where we can create. Bear with me for 1 second. Jessica, that plug right there, that's black with the black cord, would love to find itself mating with the Wi-Fi, wherever the Wi-Fi is, because I just heard the Wi-Fi sing a song. There's a great mystic Rumi, I'm sure you've heard of him, who said, the wound is where the light shines through. If you feel you've had, how do I put it? Most people don't recognize the wounds that have created who they are, the wounds that are guiding them, the wounds that are directing them. As you begin to recognize them, that's a sign you're on their way to becoming a modern mystic. When you recognize the wounds, well, it was my childhood, but specifically it was this, or it was that, or it was the other thing. Earlier today, I was in the car as we're Googling in the car on the computer, where do we go? And I said, wow, I can remember 11 years ago when I was in a car, we were on book tour, and I felt homeless and like I had screwed everything up because we didn't have a hotel room. I'm like, I can still feel that inside of myself. But as a mystic, I can uncouple from that. It doesn't mean that I go numb to it, far from it. I can uncouple it, look from that higher level perspective and understand it and kind of stare at it, study it, snow globe it, and understand that those wounds are what make me who I am. And that sets me free. Someone who's becoming on their way to becoming a modern mystic or has the aspects of a modern mystic recognizes the wounds and understands that those are portals to another realm. It's what they are, portals to another realm. They are here to serve you. We're going to be training you how to do that in the School of Mystics. We're going to be training you how to work with those wounds and turn them into a superpower. So let's talk about some other ways that you can tell if you are a mystic or on your way to becoming a mystic. And Jessica's checking something out on the camera, so I'm temporarily distracted by her beauty behind the camera. She's waving to me. I'm waving to all of you. Our Wi-Fi look good? Excellent. All right. Let's dive into some more. Some more of the key signs that you may be a mystic. 1, empath. We've already covered that. 2, nothing makes sense. That makes sense because you're starting to view the world from a higher perspective. We just help you to focus in on that lens. Oh, I like this next one. You hear and see things, particularly synchronicities that you can't explain. If you're getting 111, 222, 333, 444, 555, this is the angels knocking at your door, helping you wake up to who and what you are. See, there's a certain percentage of people. I don't know if it's 1%. I don't know if it's 10%. We had Stephen Greer on the show about a month ago talking about UFOs, talking about higher intelligence life forms from other planets, from other galaxies. And he was talking about how if we have just 1% of humanity come together at a higher level of vibration, the level of the mystic, that we can change the energy of the entire planet, raise to the upper room, and literally change how we view the world. Sort of like goes back to Max Planck. It's quoted Planck. It was quoted by Wayne Dyer all the time. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. 1% of humanity changes the way you look at things. Like an electronic state change, humanity goes up to a new level, the entire planet changes to a level where we can actually solve the problems. Because right now, we can't, like Einstein said, we can't solve the problem from the levels it was created. Fortunately, you're already vibrating up here. And I'm going to help you. Every class I have is an energetic vibration, energetic transmission. This is an energetic transmission too. Help you get your energy even higher up. But what the angels and guides are doing with the science, with the synchronicities, with those 444s and 555s and 11111, it was so cool. We had asked a question to the universe a couple days ago, and Jessica had to go and log into something and get a passcode. And over the phone, you hear, the passcode is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And this is something that produces a random generated number, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And you go, all right, I'm listening. What these are are waking posts. Write this down. 111-222-444-333-555. All of these things. Where is the hotel? Oh, wait, it's right there. Each one of these things is a waking post from your angels and guides. What's a waking post? It's like a signpost or a mile marker that is designed to wake you up to who and what you truly are. That's what a waking post is. It's the angel's way of going, hello, McFly, you get it? We're here. We're supporting you. It's time to raise up. In other words, you're one of that 1%. Embrace it. Another one of the key signs. Your dreams are quite fantastical. That didn't mean fun. Fantastical could be really fun dreams. I had a dream yesterday where a wolf, somebody was afraid of a wolf and thought they were going to be eaten by a wolf, and all of a sudden they fell, and I'm face to face with the wolf, who started kissing me. How does it get any better than this? But the dreams also could be quite horrific, but they are so fantastical. They have an element of beyond anything that's possible here. That's a sign you may be a mystic. Another sign, an extreme desire for consciousness to shift. I am fascinated, not so much by the news, and be careful with the news. Particularly, I know you're on your way to becoming a mystic. Be really careful with the news. Because I'm convinced the news is designed to keep us from waking up. It's designed, I don't know if it's the red pill or the blue pill, to keep us in a numbed up, drugged up state. So many addictions are designed to keep us in a numbed up, drugged up state. Look for what your addictions are and see if they are keeping you there. But the news, to me, is more powerful than heroin. I have to be really careful with it myself. I could get sucked into it. Now I just scan, look for what I need to, always finish on a positive note. 3-year-old child found after 3 days lost in the bush, in the bush of Australia earlier today. 3-year-old boy lost in the bush. 3 nights, down to 6 degrees Celsius at night, survived. How does it get any better than this? Woo-hoo. Be careful of the news, the negative, worthless stimulation, because it can keep you at a low vibration and keep you from waking up. See, what happens is, admission. I don't look at car accidents. I send people love when they take place. I don't want to focus on that negative. And they can be very positive life shifts. People make it. And if the people didn't make it, very positive returns home, because we're infinite beings. Still suffering, and loss and grief are real. So I don't want to take away from that. But there's still a natural desire, and I'm going to use that term, natural desire, inside of me to follow the big storm. Now I say prayers and shut it off. To follow the big story. Now I say prayers and turn away. But this moth to a flamedness that's inside of us, particularly those waking up, is a frustration with the world, is as it is. Going, wake up. Do we need things to get worse for you to wake up? And it's almost like we're hoping for things to get worse, if we're honest with ourselves, so that people will wake up. We've had enough of this sleepy consciousness. We've had enough of this state of people in a state of zombiness. Zombie land has got to end. And so we get very frustrated with that. And we're like almost cheering on bad stuff because we want to wake up. We want everybody to wake up, not just ourselves. We feel we are awake. We are. We also have, though, an extreme desire to get out of this crazy world. A sign you may be a mystic is an extreme desire to leave this world. Kids today, they're coming in with a higher level processor. Avery's coming in so much further down the path than I was when I was his age. And the world is making even less sense to kids because they get it. They get the big picture. Chances are you get the big picture too. And so you feel if you can't change it, that you want out. You just want to check out. That's why so many people say, I just want to be enlightened. I just want to float up here. No, what you want is for the world to make some sense. But the sense comes in going to that higher level perspective, being able to see the world from a different perspective, and then being able to reach down, take somebody's hand, and help bring them up to a world that makes more sense as well. But another sign going along these terms is you may have an extreme frustration for how the way the world works or how people react to things. So for instance, we had that report that now most people have forgotten only a couple of weeks ago saying we've got 1 or 2 years to get our act together as far as climate change goes, or the system's going to run completely out of control. And so there was something released in the UK saying we must do everything we can to work on fixing the climate now. And we must begin by drilling as much oil as we possibly can so that we have the money to pay for the climate change projects. What? Sign me, you may be a modern mystic as you look at that and you go, huh? I don't get it. That's a superpower. Because the more that you don't get it, the closer you are to getting to the other side where you do. Because the getterness is on the inside as an empath, as somebody who's sensitive, as somebody who's seeing the nuttiness. You are much more capable of being an intronaut. Of noticing how you feel, how you react, what you do, and how others see, feel, react, and do. In fact, all day long, you can't help but seeing, feeling, hearing, and knowing how people around you are reacting. It drives you bat bleep crazy. You can't help but seeing it. So what we do is we learn how to dive into ourselves. That's a big part of what the School of Mystics is about. Dive into ourselves. Learn how to get the highest level control in here. And we become such incredible tuning forks. 444 555 11111. The angel's going, you too can be such an incredible tuning fork for powerful, positive change in the world. Most people are going through the world asleep. They're going through the paces. They're brainwashed by the media. They're brainwashed by TV. They're brainwashed by the latest fear-based story or fear-based this. They don't have the time, the ability, the wherewithal, or the awakenedness in order to shift their lives. They don't know that their lives need to be shifted other than there's too much month left at the end of their money and there's too much stress, worry, and anxiety. But they have no idea that they're capable of rising above this world. None at all. The future mystic is going, how can I change myself? How can I evolve? What can I do? Where can I go? That means you're already on your path. If you're asking these questions, how can I improve my life circumstance? Then you are no longer at the level of a victim. That's a mystic, or at least the start of one. You can cultivate that in you. You are asking, how can I shift to a higher level of consciousness? How can I vibrate? And what I call, my guides call, Paul Selick's guides call, so many different guides call, the upper room. You're saying it's time. You may be a mystic too if you have a greater recognition over your emotions. It may not mean that you can control all of them yet. I'm not even sure what control our emotions mean. If you hit my hand with a hammer, I'm going to go, ow. I may not go, you bleepity, 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 but I'm going to go, ow. Do I want to control it to where I go, thank you, may I have another? I guess that's a level of rewiring. Not sure I want to do that. But what I can do is observe the emotions and learn how to work with them. And I can also uncouple from them, which means I can see Michael is upset. I can see Michael is sad. I can see Michael is grieving. I could be grooving too. But I am not the grief. I am not the pain. I am not the suffering. I am that loving, infinite observer of Michael down below, of little Michael. And I'm going to help him to get through this. The mystic learns how to uncouple, to be above at the same time as below. That's Hermeticism. As above, so below. How can I live at this higher state, witness what is going on here to help heal it and bring myself and bring everyone else up? So if you have a greater recognition of your emotions, you're on your way to becoming a mystic. If you have the bravery, the courage, the desire to dive in and do the inner work, even if you don't know how to get started, that's a sign you're on your way to becoming a mystic, because most people today don't have that desire, don't have that strength, don't have that courage, don't have that bravery, and wouldn't dare put on this program here tonight, and wouldn't dare go to a school of mystics, because that's too bleeping scary. Because it means you get to face everything. And you get to rise up. So that's a huge sign. If you're brave enough to watch this, if you're brave enough to step forward, that you're on your way to becoming a mystic. A few more, then we're going to open up to questions, and then we're going to do a becoming a mystic meditation just before the end. All right. Next sign, one of the last five? Yeah, one of the last 5 signs of becoming a mystic, that you too may be a mystic, is someone who feels or who doesn't want a normal existence, who feels there's something more, who feels there's a different way. If you're looking at everybody around you and going, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, there has to be a better way, there has to be a better way. That is your soul, your spirit on the other side of the veil saying there is another way for you. And we will help you tune in the dial. School of Mystics will help you tune in the dial. Your higher self will work with you to help you tune in the dial to see that other way. Along those lines, another sign you may be a mystic is you're someone for whom others, particularly family, does not understand. Yes, I'm saying it here right now. If your family thinks you're nuts, if you were the black sheep of your family, if your family makes no sense to you or you make no sense to them, it's because you're already starting to vibrate at a higher level. and they're gonna look at you strangely because you took the red pill or the blue pill and they haven't taken it yet. And that's okay. You can still love them up. Let's step back a little bit, do your own work. You can love them up, and then you can help bring them up if they're open for it. So a mystic doesn't have to seem nuts or crazy. Though then again, somebody like St. Francis, who was an ascetic and walking around with no clothes for 20 years, may seem a little bit nuts. Somebody like Jesus, who ended up getting, we know what ended up happening to him, may have been seen as way outside of the norm as well. But then there's also Mother Teresa, another magical mystic, who sacrificed everything she could because she saw the God and the unity inside of each and every one of us. So you don't have to be nuts. You don't have to be way out there. But you do get to go to the beat of your own drum. Which brings us to the last few. If you have a craving, a lifelong craving, I want to be connected to spirit 24/7, you may be a mystic. That is your higher self. That is spirit. That is your soul on the other side, calling to you to connect again. You're not disconnected, but we've forgotten the connection at a higher level. Embrace that with everything that you've got. Last couple. If you have a craving or desire to return home. In fact, you're going, where is home? What is home? Jessica and I were driving into Lake Placid tonight, and the last song that came on was Country Road by John Denver. Take me home to a place where I belong. Oh, I'm going to cry now. Country road, take me home to a place where I belong. If your heartstrings are plucked by that, and you have this extreme desire inside of yourself to return home, you too may be a mystic, because you have not forgotten the other side of the veil. That's why the world looks so crazy here, is you remember on some deep level what the world is supposed to look like, supposed to feel like, supposed to be like. I say supposed to, meaning everything is perfect as it is, but you can recognize, the more you can recognize the divinity, you remember what it was like on the other side of the veil. And so this becomes even more maddening here. And you wish you could do something about it, or at least return home. Last note, last one that says you may be a modern mystic, or last sign, an extreme craving for more peace. Not in those riled up moments. That's easy to get wound up. To find more peace, bathe in more peace, backstroke in peace. For me, one of the sweetest moments of the entire day is either just sitting on the couch or laying down to bed early with no place to go and nothing to do, and just bathing in the silence. Because you can start to hear beyond words that there is a profound richness and a profound voice speaking to you in the silence. So if you resonated with these things, come join us for our School of Mystics on Wednesday. You're going to meet your new family, Ohana. This is the Hawaiian word for family. Those who are on this path with you, we're going to go on this path together. We're going to help you unlearn what gets to be unlearned, unplug what gets to be unplugged, cut a bunch of cords that get to be cut as we help rewire you for a higher level perspective, for a higher level vibration, and help you discover the mystic you already are and were always meant to be. This coming month, and it's 4 Wednesdays a month, this coming month, I'm going to be channeling, among other things, Madame Blavatsky. She was considered the first mystic here in the US. She brought Eastern and Western religion together. She was the one who trained Gandhi. And we're going to be looking at how she learned by traveling to the East, by having mystical teachers, by having Tibetan teachers. She learned that there was this original religion, meaning this original ancient universal religion. She called it a universal wisdom religion, which brought together all of the mystical traditions to their essence. And we're going to help you understand on a conscious level and help you embody on the deepest subconscious level, because we're going to be rewiring your subconscious, what these original teachings were, as we help remove the wounds and blocks, not so much clearing here. She would say we're going to be taking a jackhammer, because I spoke with her earlier tonight. Her term was actually pre-jackhammer. It's a battering ram to the beliefs that have been put into your operating system by the matrix to keep you vibrating at a low level vibration. If we want to go to the movie Matrix, there was a squid thing inside of somebody, inside of Neo, that had to be taken out. Interestingly enough, it was taken out through, symbolically enough, through his umbilical cord or through his belly button. It's not so much that that device was tracking him. It's that this programming inside of him and this programming inside of us, sort of like an entity that has to be removed, keeps us from fully waking up, keeps us from remembering who we are, keeps us from our greatness. You're great. You're amazing. You're as much, this is going to sound nuts, spirit and the divine as I am, as all of us are. You are spirit. You are divine. You could use the words. Don't be scared by it. You are God. It's not a bearded white guy in the sky. You are the love and spirit of everything and everyone. You are not all of it. You're not the totality of everything. But you are as much of it as I am, as Jessica is, as Ruru is. He's pretty cool. As anybody is. But there are so many subconscious programs and teachings and brainwashings. There's a new word, brainwashings, that get to be extricated and removed, to make you lighter, to make it easier to remember your greatness. And that's one small piece of what we're going to be doing this month in the School of Mystics, is getting you lighter, is helping you vibrate at that higher level, is helping, like an Etch-a-Sketch, shake and remove all of the stuff that you should never have had in the beginning. Don Miguel Ruiz, we've had him on the show several times. Don Miguel Ruiz, actually Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. No, it is Don Miguel Ruiz. We've had on both him and his son. Says that we are all domesticated as children. Sort of like an animal gets domesticated, we get domesticated. We get programmed by the tribe. Some of that program is good. Look both ways before you cross the road. But a lot of that programming endangers you, keeps you down. And so in this coming month, one of the coolest things we're going to do is unprogram you, is to set you free. So Allie's going to put that link there one more time. I'm going to go into some questions. Again, it is the next 4 Wednesdays in a row, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. You're going to be able to ask questions live with me. It is live on Zoom. There are recordings. If you can't make it, not a problem. There's a recording each week. I don't keep attendance. There's a Facebook group where you can talk with your homies. You can ask your questions live of me. We're going to go through this journey together. And there is such a palpable energy. You can ask anybody who's been in any of our past classes, which is morphing into this beautiful, beautiful School of Mystics, what the energy is like, how much is transformative, how contagious it is, how buzzy they feel at the end of classes. All right, let's go into questions. Before we did that, oh my God, Teresa, thank you. Thank you for your kind donation. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? I'd be yelling from the rooftop, but I'm in a hotel room, so I'm yelling a little bit quietly. Woohoo! All right. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. From Fiona. I know I'm an empath. I believe this is why I hate crowds and I prefer to be at home, not out in the world. Are most empath like this? The energy I pick up is overwhelming. Yes, 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 Fiona. We get to learn how to dial that in and make it a superpower. It takes work, but on the other hand, it can be easier than it seems. I like to use the idea of to Tai Chi something. Tai Chi is a martial art where you take somebody's incoming energy, fist coming at you. I don't even like making a fist, but a hand coming at you. And you take the hand and you move it around so that they go back out. In other words, you transmute that energy. So, Fiona, you are very sensitive to energy, which means you can also grab that energy, move that energy around, and learn how to use that energy better than someone who is not sensitive. So we can play with this and dial it in for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to love crowds. I am a strong empath. Jessica is an empath. She's about 10 times the empath that I am. But I still need that quiet space and bubble to soak up the silence and recover. I recognize it, I'm aware of it, and then I can play in the group, and then I can play with others. However, Fiona, you will learn to do it on your terms. Like Jessica and myself, you may step into a place and go, not my energy. Or like last night, getting into the RV park where everybody is trying to help us at once, which was awesome and overwhelming. You may go, I get to do. All right, now I'm good to go. Let's do this. So beautiful question, Fiona. Mary, and come join us. Please, please, please. We're going to show you how to do all of this and a lot more because you've got it going on. Mary, oh, Mary, thank you, Mary, thank you, Mary, thank you, Mary. How does it get any better than this? Thank you for your kind donation. How does it get any better than this? Thank you so, so much, Mary. Mary, I had a thought this past week to overcome my fear of snakes. Ooh. I was using it to help me overcome my deeper fear of something holding me back. 2 days later, I had a freaky incident with a big snake at my office. It came out of nowhere and ate a small steak in front of me. Did I? Ooh, wow, this is awesome. Did I manifest that? Okay, Mary. A big snake appeared in your office and ate a little snake. How does it get any better than this? Now, okay, I don't want to see any snakes hurt in the making of anything. With that said, let's talk snake. And I love snake. I love snake. And I'm just jumping in. Miguel and Denise, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. How does it get any better than this? Getting better than this. The donations keep coming. Thank you guys so, 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 so much. Snake energy is about transformation and about seeing with your third eye. Snake never, despite everything that you've heard, bad snake, evil, bad spirits, all this stuff, that's all bogus. That's all part of the programming that gets to go away of snake being scary. Snake is a gift. Snake is here to lift you up. Snake is indigenous wisdom. Snake is seeing beyond sight. Snake is the mystic energy inside of you. And snake is the letting go of the skin that doesn't serve you. And small snake being eaten by big snake is showing who and what you are, who and where you come from, who and where you're going. That is showing you your greatness being embodied. It is showing the old you being ingested so the new you can be birthed. It is, technical term, flipping awesome. Awesome. Say prayers for the little snake that's gone on about its way. I always do that with every animal. Say lots of prayers and blessings to help it. It's on its way. Thank Big Snake for showing himself or herself, because a snake appearance is never, not once by accident. Carl Jung, huge mystic, was a compatriot of Freud until he started saying all of these crazy, beautiful things because he had a near-death experience. Hello. Said the waking world is the dream world is the waking world. What does this mean? It means that everything is going to present itself to us in this time, in signs, in symbols, and synchronicities. And there is nothing better than what happened there. Write it down, feel it out, ask about it in the dream world, ask about it in automatic writing. Repeat this experience in your mind's eye while talking to spirit and asking, what else can I learn from this? But going to a place of gratitude, because this is awesome, Mary. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Jackie, I've always been an outcast and super sensitive. I always have this sense deep in my gut and chest about things, but how do you figure out what it is? What block do I have? So Jackie, first off, this is huge. And it's another one that I didn't even get to, which is a sign you may be a mystic, is you see things and know things that you shouldn't, or see and know that things are coming that there's no way that you could know. Whether that's a 9/11, whether that's a phone call and who's on the other end, whether that's a bad letter, a good letter, or who knows what, you see and know things. It's because you're already on the other side of the veil. So Jackie, what's happening here is there is a huge part of you that is on the other side of the veil. And there's a part of you that is afraid to embody this side of things, because so much of you is on this other side. I'm doing this on the table. So much of you is here that there's so little of you that wants to be here. And we get to learn how to tip it into balance. That way we can use the superpower of being on the other side of the veil while fully embodying what's going on here. You can do this. It's not that you have a block. It's training you. That's a big part of what the School of Mystics is about. For instance, if I put you on a jungle gym and I say, go across this ladder from one arm to the next, to the next, to the next, something almost any kid can do. Not every kid. And my dad in basic training, he actually broke and fell his leg doing it, fell and broke his leg doing it. But almost all of us can do this with training. Key words, with training. Jackie, we get to help you embrace your embodied nature so that we can be able to balance between that sense, a side of you on the other side of the veil and the side of you that is here. That's why this month theme is Isis Unveiled. It is how to get on the other side of the veil and then bring these two sides together. As long as you're willing to dive into that, there is no block. It's a conscious choice, but there's no block. We will help you unlearn some of the big, bad, bold, scary lies in this world. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This is done. This world is by design. It seems like to keep us down, but to help us work to rise up and to help others to rise up, to expand our own consciousness and then help others to do so. We do that at this level of existence through challenge. Awesome. Be up for the challenge, Jackie. I know that you are. And let that sensitivity and outcasted nature, man, I can see it. I can see it right now. The School of Mystics is really a school of superheroes, of all of us being outcasts from a world that's asleep and stepping into our superpowers. Thankfully, you're an outcast, Jackie. If you weren't an outcast, you'd be a zombie. You'd be asleep, going through the world like everybody else does. Instead, you were an outcast. You took a higher level perspective. You basically said, none of this makes any sense to me. Nothing that you're doing makes any sense to me. And you uncoupled yourself from the craziness. How does it get any better than this, Jackie? So let's teach you how to use those skills. Nothing wrong with you. No blocks at all. In fact, it is a latent superhero skill starting to come to the surface. Thank you for asking, Jackie. Nadia, and sending all my love. Nadia. Lately, I've been getting signs of arrows. What does this mean? Oh, Nadia, I didn't take it with me. I got to see if I want to. I was cleaning out my childhood bedroom in Massachusetts this weekend. And there was a big concern, actually, from years gone by and of going into storage units and stuff. What would this do, this trip down Mary Lane? One of the favorite things I found there and I'm going to go back and get it. I'm going to ask my mom for it. It was from when I was a Boy Scout, and it was something I had earned called the Arrow of Light. And I worked hard for the Arrow of Light. Arrows to me are signs you're on path, are pointers. Look at an arrow. It is a pointer of exactly where you get to go. And Nadia, to me, an arrow means to point yourself exactly where you want to go and head there with everything that you've got. Bring a narrow arrow-like focus to exactly where you want to go. So I look at it as the universe giving you a marker, saying, Natalie, where do you want to go? Let's point our arrow there. Let's focus in. Let's let go of all of the stuff around us that's pulling us here, Nadia, that's pulling us there, Nadia, and instead focus exactly where we want to go and shoot straight like an arrow to your or toward your target. Brilliant question. May the arrows continue, and may you follow the arrow to exactly where your heart pulls you. Colleen. So, how do we find time in our busy lives to work on our intuition? Ooh, I wish during the busy day I could slow down and listen to my intuition. Dang ADHD. All right, Colleen, please bear with me. I do that to myself as well. Did that to myself as well. We cannot say that anymore. When you say dang ADHD, what you do is trap yourself in a box. It limits you by defining you. Now, it's interesting because I'm using the term modern mystic to define us as well. But what I'm saying is use the term modern mystic for a higher level definition and then let go of that as well. But the definition of ADHD, or the resonance behind it, says I'm stuck without focus. I'm not able to do this. I'm not able to do that. Nothing could be further from the truth. All right. I've got my book here. Let's pretend this book was a book from 15, 20 years ago called College in 2006, called College Confidence with ADD. It's a book I wrote for kids and adults with attention deficit disorder. There's a little bit about me as well. And I took this book to Jessica. And I said, I am as I am. I've got ADHD. Read the darn book. I don't remember how the story went down. If she used the profanity, if I used the profanity. But basically, she said, you are not that story. You are not that book. You are fleeping whoever you challenge yourself to be. So, Colleen, you are whoever you challenge yourself to be. You can use those ADHD skills. They're hyper creative skills in disguise, however you wish them to be. So, what does that mean? All right, your mind races. You're driving down the road. It's such a busy day. How am I going to be able to find time to dive into intuition? And Colleen, I'll get to that grasshopper in a minute because that's important. How am I going to dive into intuition? Well, you're driving down the road and your mind is spinning like this. Feel your hands on the steering wheel. How do they feel? Feel the air coming in and out. How does that feel? Your butt on the seat. How does that feel? This is beyond mindfulness. Now feel for the energy and start to play with the energy. Can I bring it up? Can I bring it down? Can I bring it up? Can I bring it down? Can I pause on the up breath? Can I pause on the down breath? And up and down. In essence, Use your hyper creative mind to make space in the midst of whatever you're doing to work on your intuitive side. It's there waiting for you. All you need to do is give it tiny pauses. Put a sticky note on your windshield that says, this drive is dedicated, like Sesame Street. This drive is dedicated to the number 3. This drive is dedicated to the number 555 or 111. On this drive, I'm going to focus on my intuition. Set an alarm at noon. This next 5 minutes is going to be to focus on nothing. Set an alarm for 111. This 1 minute will be focused on connecting with my divine self. Use your mind to help you cultivate your intuition. Let's go to the cricket, the grasshopper. In each one of my shamanic journeys with ayahuasca, and many other journeys that I've had non-ayahuasca based, they have always started and always ended with the sound of the cricket or the grasshopper. In fact, many mystics are known, I can't recommend this, it's not kind. Many mystics are known to have carried, like in a little Altoids tin, a grasshopper by their heart, continuously chirping to remind them of the frequency and vibration on the other side. This should give you goosebumps. Whether there's one grasshopper, whether there's 1,000, whether there's 1,000,000, you drive down the highway in the summertime and you can hear one continuous rhythm of the grasshoppers. That's the frequency of the universe. That's the frequency on the other side. That grasshopper has appeared to remind you of your original frequency on the other side of the veil. You go into ayahuasca, suddenly the grasshopper sound becomes super loud. You come back down to earth, so to speak, meaning the dial gets tuned from that other universe to this earthly plane. You hear the grasshopper as well, reminding you of where you just came from. Brilliant, Colleen. How does it get any better than this? Take a few more questions here. I'll get through as many of these as I can, then let's get into a meditation. Jackie K. Okay, we got Jackie's. C. Montiava. I want to learn how to pronounce your name. A few days ago or more, myself and my friend have been waking up a couple of times a night. My question was why? I've noticed sometimes not at all. So, when I find us waking up in the middle of the night, I no longer look at it as I can't fall asleep. Why am I stressed out? Why am I this? Why am I that? To me, it is our angels and guides waking us up to deliver a message. So we wake up in the middle of the night. First off, we could go and do some automatic writing and write out, why am I awake? What do I need to know? That's one way to do it. Or you can wake up and you can go, I can't fall asleep. And you can simply put out that question. Spirit, why did you wake me during this time or at this time? Close your eyes, lean back. Maybe you drift off into sleep and get a fantastical dream or a message, or maybe you just hear something. But when you're woken up in the middle of the night, Spirit is working to deliver you a message. And so I would take that as a gift and say, thank you, and dive in to learn and hear what that message is. Now, I keep flashing this book, Automatic Writing Experience, a process where you can communicate with the angels, communicate with guides. You can get a whole video-based program on it, automaticwriting.com. Plus, we have live classes that you get once a month with the Automatic Writing program. But as part of it, there is dream interpretation. And you can write out your dreams in automatic writing and get an interpretation of them. But the simplest way is to ask your angels and guides and really start to listen. That's a big part of what we're going to be training you in the School of Mystics, is how you can hear beyond the ears. You can communicate with the angels, with guides, with yourself on the other side and say, why'd you wake me up? But let's start, Mantalia, let's start with the very basics. Put that question out there before you go back to sleep. Put a notepad by your bed. And as you come awake, write down the first thing that comes up, the very first thing that you remember. Terry Sargio, was Jesus a mystic? Absolutely. How does a mystic perceive love? What is love? Ooh. A mystic perceives love as the harmony, the frequency, and the chord that goes through everyone and everything. The harmony, frequency, and chord that goes through everyone and everything. It is a frequency that is always being played. It is a chord that is always being played. It is a harmony that is always being sung. Yet most people aren't awake and aware enough to hear its continuous song. So when Jessica and I got into barefoot running over a decade ago, we learned that we could actually tune in and hear the sound of the earth. It's called the Schumann frequency, the Schumann resonance. And it's a warble that you can actually train your ear to hear. It's a vibration that is always there. Some places louder than others. Sedona, huge. Mount Shasta, oh my God, there's somebody here from Mount Shasta tonight. Really, really, really huge. But we can tune ourselves to hear that frequency. A mystic can tune her or himself to hear the frequency of love all the time. Brief story. I'm at my parents' home, my childhood home, cleaning it out a couple days ago because they're going to be selling it this fall. And there's a giant jar in the closet. And I don't have time to go through this jar, but it's from my first girlfriend. And inside of it are all these secret notes that we exchanged to each other. It's like 5th grade, 6th grade, until she got into 7th grade. And turns out I wasn't so popular. And her best friend convinced her to go out with the popular boys. I opened up this jar right before leaving. And I said, God, universe, source, angels, maybe I said the works, I want a sign. Just give me a sign. And I opened up the first note. Literally, it's the only one that I had time for. And I think it said something like, Michael, do you love me? And I wrote, yes, I do. And she goes, I love you. I love you so much. It was just, I just want to cry. It was just such a beautiful, pure note. That's interesting. Note. That's what we're talking about in musical note. Note of love. It wasn't about a girl at this point. That's 40, over 40 years ago. It's just about a note of love. It's just recognizing that note of love or divinity that is interwoven through everyone and everything. That's what love is to a mystic. It is recognizing that love in everyone and everything. Sonia, I had a dream about a friend of mine who died. I asked him, aren't you dead? Why are you here? He told me he visits from time to time. I could touch him and he felt warm in the dream. Visitation? Yes, 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 yes. And real. As real as me pinching myself right now. We are trans-dimensional beings. We don't just reside in this dimension. The reason that you're so attracted to the concept of becoming a modern mystic, which you are, is because you recognize your trans-dimensional divinity, your trans-dimensional nature. It means that you recognize that a large portion of you is already, I'm saying it as if it's outside of you. You're inside of this trans-dimensional multiverse. This is just, this piece of you is just a fraction of who you are. And your greater self is helping you wake up to your true nature. And so, can your friend travel into this dimension and say hi to you as much as he wants? Absolutely. I do a process if you want, like automatic writing, and call him in every chance you get if you want to learn from him on the other side. So many brilliant books, particularly moms who've lost a son or daughter, who write to them on the other side and learn so much about this. What we learn at the end of the day as a mystic is that we can communicate with the other side as often as we want. I've got at my bottom of a page of notes here. I went to Madame Blavatsky right before class and said, what is the most important thing you want me to know about the teaching I'm going to be doing this month? And she came right through and she said, the exact words were, we shall begin by taking a battering ram to beliefs that do not serve us, to do away with the old in order to allow for the new. This class shall be the tabula rasa, the clearing away of the old, the cleansing of the spirit and the mind, in order to allow for new concepts and precepts to come through. This will be kind and gentle, but it will also be powerful and strong. This class shall be a tabula rasa, which means blank slate, the clearing away of the old, the cleansing of the spirit and the mind, in order to allow for new concepts and precepts to come through. She just spoke to me from the other side of the veil like that. Your friend can do that too. Anyone with training, anyone you want to connect to, you can do that with. You can learn how to travel transdimensionally. That's being a mystic. Once you're on the other side, you're free to travel anywhere at any time. It may take a little practice and it may be a desire to want to be there, but you can travel at anywhere at any time. My grandparents on my mom's side have been coming through more and more and more as I've been open to it because they have such powerful messages for me. So I would call your friend in and see everything he has to share. Wow, thank you for these brilliant questions. See if I can get through the last bunch quickly, which I'm not known for, but let's see what I can do. The Ruffled Bunny. Oh, what a name. I can't tell what are my thoughts and what information I'm getting from my guides. Do you have any advice? Yes, the Ruffled Bunny. First off, come train with us. We will help you to identify. With that said, breathe. I want you, Ruffled Bunny, to breathe more. To breathe more deliberately, to breathe more slowly, and to breathe deeper down to your diaphragm. What this does, Ruffled Bunny, is it starts to bring in space to ask the question, where did this thought come from? But you're already on your way, and I think you have the answers here, because loving, kind, gentle thoughts rarely come from us. They come from spirit. They come from our mind, particularly our third eye, being a receiver rather than a transmitter. But with that said, the greatest thoughts that come to us don't come from us. No great idea came to us going, I want a great idea, I want a great idea, I want a great idea. They came to us stepping back, brushing our teeth as Einstein would do, dropping something on our foot, taking a walk. The idea pops in our head. When you realize that, if you go and breathe in and realize that thought had no inception point, it just appeared. It's not from you. And you get that better when you breathe deeper and more deliberately. Natalie, how do you use your power of mystical energy when people that are around you are negative? I try to block it and keep my energy focused on the positive, but it can be overwhelming at times. First off, Natalie, brilliant point. We get to train the mind how to uncouple from other people's energy. That is a big thing we will work on together, because a mystic is an empath who's been empowered to recognize his or her own skills. A mystic who is an empath who's been empowered to recognize his or her own skills, which means we are going to recognize how sensitive we are to everybody else's energy and learn how to draw our energy in or expand our energy out, but how to cut the cords and uncouple from those energies around us. So important to do. There's a big part of this is recognition. Another big piece of it is making a conscious choice in that moment. It can be with breath, it can be with prayer, it can be by focusing on cycling energy. I'm really big on doing that, on getting the energy to flow inside of us. I call it inner Tai Chi, so that we're not attached to the other person's energy. Okay, last 3 questions. Ooh, glow green watt. What about a praying mantis? What does it mean? Wow. It's been a while since I focused on a praying mantis. When I got to Emerald Isle many years ago, not Ireland, but the southernmost Outer Banks, praying mantis kept following me, and praying mantis, I believe one time actually, was it landed and stayed on my head, I believe it was. We have photos. I believe it was landed and stayed on my head. Praying mantis to me is very connected to the other side of the veil. And so from a practical point of view, it is universe speaking to you. Praying mantis is also very fierce, even though he or she is small. And so I believe that there is a fierceness in mantis coming to you, saying to use all the strength you've got to focus on the other side of the veil and making that deep connection. So when mantis comes to you, it's not by accident. Why is mantis Kung Fu Panda? Why is there a mantis that is such a powerful little ninja? Because that is the power that's within you to connect to the other side. I would go in the dream world. When I go to sleep, I would ask for mantis to appear. I would ask what mantis means. I would write about mantis. I might even get myself a little totem that's mantis and keep it out there for me, and recognize that mantis is there to help you on your journey. All right, I got to get through these last couple of questions and let us do a meditation here, because we get to go back to our kiddos who are at home in the RV, and we're still about 20, 30 minutes away. Big question, does it mystic find a mate who understands? Mary, we crank up that energy inside of us, and we attract that partner in. However long it takes, it is all by design. But as our energy goes up, there's a certain level we pass where no one who wouldn't match our energy will be attracted, will simply be repelled. We'll be able to catch energy vampires very quickly, but then we will magnetize in that right person. Last question. Country carpenter. What does it mean when someone heals people? When someone heals people, can speak by thought. See orbs, people appear in human form, then can read. Okay, if I'm understanding this right, if you can heal people by thought, which can be done, that means that there's a certain level of vibration inside of you. It doesn't mean that all of you is at this higher realm, but there are certain magic skills inside of you. By magic, I mean higher frequency skills. So we get to embody and embolden you and teach you how to work with those to bring those about more. See orbs. Orbs are spiritual beings. They are spirit in orb form, coming here to visit, to guide us, to check in on us, to help us know that we're not alone. We can cultivate that as well. The last one, I'm not quite sure what that means, but basically, country carpenter, dive into these skills with everything that you've got. It's a note for everybody to come join us in class, but I would certainly, country carpenter, come join us and learn how to cultivate these skills. These are your like arrows in a quiver. These are your tools that you get to play with. As we get to embolden you and wake you up to who you truly are, use these gifts. They were meant for you to use for everyone, for your highest good and the highest good of all. I've got to wrap things up. We're going to do a brief meditation. Allie's going to put the link down, or Jessica's going to put the link down one more time to come join us this Wednesday. We can't wait to see you then. It's going to be the next 4 Wednesdays in a row. Actually, it's many more Wednesdays, but we take it 1 month, 4 Wednesdays at a time. We are going to tabula rasa you. We are going to help clear away a lot of these old beliefs. We are going to instill and install some new, very empowering beliefs, so that whether you're a country carpenter, whether you're anyone that's here tonight, we will help you bring out the skills that are inside of you and help you become the modern mystic that you're meant to be, because you chose to incarnate in this time, and there is a reason for it. So let's rock this world together and help raise it up with everything we've got. Don't worry, no pressure. You don't have to worry about raising anybody else up. We're just going to focus on you. All right. So let's do a brief meditation here tonight. And it's really, really late, so we're going to keep this really short. So let's sit up good and tall. I'm going to sit up good and tall, but I'm going to take a little bit of pillow underneath me there so I can relax into it. Deep breath in. And in. One more time in. Breathe in and out, super gentle. And I want you to imagine that you're on a waterbed or a floating rubber ducky or some sort of a kayak, canoe, raft, preferably inflatable, just laying in the most gentle pool or body of water, or even the ocean on the Gulf, just by the beach, perhaps just at sunrise or sunset, when the waters are still, it's nary a ripple, and you're just laying down in a state of total peace. You can feel such great peace. You can hear the sound of silence. You feel the love all around you. You feel the love of Mama Earth herself. You feel the love of Spirit. You feel the love that's emanating from everyone and everything. Maybe you put your fingers gently in the water and wiggle them around. Notice the tiny ripples that go out. This state of peace and ease and love, this is your birthright. This is who and what you truly are. Without eyes, without ears, without thought. You are infinite. You are the divine. You are a mystic. And you are spirit. Let's take just about 10, 20 seconds or so here to enjoy the water, and then we'll come home. Can you feel the love? Can you feel the peace? This is your birthright, and this is yours to come back to. And come back to this water, come back to this sacred space any time you want. So feel free to drop off here and just stay in the water and stay in this peace. I want to wish you the most beautiful, beautiful evening and week ahead. Please do come join us on Wednesday. I'm looking to see if I can see everybody here. I've had it closed. No, I can't even find it. Please do come join us Wednesday. I send so, so much love your way. I can't wait to see you soon. Keep on shining bright. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Universe. Thank you, angels. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? Oh, I see somebody joined as a new member of our inner circle. We have lots of behind the scenes videos. You can join. You can click that join link below and check out our podcast. So you don't have to just watch when you're at home in front of YouTube, but when you're driving down the road, we're on iTunes. We're on everywhere you can find your podcast. So come join us there. Can't wait to see you Wednesday. Love you guys so, so much. Keep on shining bright. Woohoo! Got to do that quiet for everyone who's sleeping.